If AJ doesn't knock him out in the first round, in the second round, then he didn't really win the fight, even if he ultimately does win the fight on the scorecards. Do you feel that sort of pressure to not just win, Anthony, but also knock Jake Paul out?
Yeah, I understand. I really understand where they're coming from. I understand. I get it. I know the expectations and demands these fans have, and I respect it. If I didn't respect it, I'll be honest with you and say, nah, they're talking rubbish. But I do get it, because I hold myself in that same regard. So I need to do it. And that's my intention, to seek and destroy.
My voice cracked. I'm still going through puberty. The biggest fight of 2025. USA versus UK. He's got the belts, the size, the history, but I have the balls. Be careful what you...
In the blistering Miami heat, inside a gym buzzing like a beehive on pre-fight adrenaline, Jake Paul wipes sweat from his brow as the Netflix cameras zoom in for another day of all access. Except today's episode isn't just about training montages and motivational quotes. It's the day Anthony Joshua himself steps into the lion's den to confront the man who predicted he would knock him out early. And from the moment Joshua's shadow stretches across the gym door, you can feel the energy shift. The kind of shift that happens when a heavyweight king walks in to check the confidence.
It's flatlined. Every single punch that was thrown was landed, and every punch that landed put Francis Ngannou down, okay? So to stand there and think that Jake Paul, who's much, much smaller, who has way less experience, that doesn't weigh anything near him, is gonna have a chance, and not to mention the technical abilities. Let's just talk about that. Not to mention the technical abilities or experience. We're talking about an Olympic gold medalist, remember, from back in the day, who's then gone on to become a true British boxing icon, or a worldwide boxing icon, let's be honest, right? There's no way that he loses to Jake Paul.
Or delusion of the prince trying to steal his throne, because Joshua is on a mission, and he's not shy about it. He's told the world plainly that he's coming into this fight with a seek and destroy mindset. Not interested in pacing, not interested in feeling things out, not interested in giving Jake Paul even a second to breathe.
Is there any clause that says you need to go easy on Jake Paul?
Honestly, I haven't seen that part, but no, there's no clause. I heard that he fought Mike Tyson in 14-ounce gloves. I heard that he was going to fight Javante in 12-ounce gloves, and then he chose to fight me in 10-ounce gloves. So there's no part. He wants to go easy, then I think he wants to hurt me.
With his goal being ruthlessly simple: end the fight as soon as possible, ideally in the very first round, to show the immense gulf in power, experience, and sheer heavyweight brutality between them. Because as some analysts put it, Joshua isn't just the bigger man. He's the more dangerous one by miles. A man who has stood toe-to-toe with Vladimir Klitschko, who has survived wars with top-tier heavyweights, who has felt punches that could collapse buildings, making it impossible.
Jake, but what sort of gulf do you expect to see?
Listen, we are in the game of entertainment. Either we're entertainment in the ring or on the football pitch, it don't matter. It's called entertainment. People are going to buy tickets to go watch Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua fight. You know, we're all entertainers, either way. So I'm happy. I'm so happy for AJ because he's doing this for himself. And you have to understand, you have to give so much respect to Jake Paul. You know, whatever he says, he makes it happen. You know, before he was like he wants to fight Anthony Joshua and people were laughing at him. And then suddenly it's happened and people are like, wow, what's going on here? You know, so kudos to that kid, man. He's very good at promoting everything he does.
Derek, do you reckon there's a bit of jealousy from other boxers and even like pundits flying around as well? Because even since it's been announced last night and today,
I know the biggest jealousy pundit you guys have, and that is Simon Jordan. I'm telling you right now, Simon Jordan right now, he must be
possible for commentators like Michael Bisping, Gareth A. Davies, and Dave Allen not to raise alarm bells that Jake Paul may have bitten off an entire kingdom more than he can chew, pointing out how Jake cannot possibly withstand the nuclear-level punching power Joshua possesses, and how the weight difference, the fight experience, and the fact that Joshua...
I couldn't give two Fs about Jake. Do not care. I can't wait to see Jake Paul get absolutely starched by AJ. I messaged AJ and I said, brother, if this guy is able to get out that ring within 8 rounds, you haven't done your job good.
Did he reply?
You haven't done your job well. Yes. Yeah, I talked to AJ, bro. He said he's going to do a madness, yeah.
Would you get in the ring with Anthony Joshua?
No. Yeah, he's stupid. He's an idiot. He loves the fame and he loves the money. So ultimately, if you're just that money hungry and that fame hungry, you're going to just do whatever. You don't care what it is. So getting in the ring with AJ, he's there like in his head probably thinks, yeah, you know what? I've got this. Also, I'm going to get a load of money and I'm going to get a load of fame from this.
Joshua has knocked out monsters far larger and far more seasoned than Jake Paul creates an equation that screams danger. But boxing today isn't just about danger. It's also about spectacle, about business, about viral moments and crossover chaos. Which is why Derek Chisora laughs off the purest criticisms and calls the event what it truly is. A business deal dressed as a fight. A mega promotion.
People can't speak. Yeah, but it's obviously scripted, isn't it? I'm like, no. 1, that's illegal. I mean, this is a professional contest. 2, we would never sign up to anything that's going to make AJ look bad or devalue him, lose rounds, go loads around.
Do you think there's any world in which AJ pulls back, though?
No, absolutely. He couldn't do that as a fighter. He would be incapable of going in there and holding back. I mean, I think the only thing that's a bit harsh is if Anthony Joshua doesn't knock him out in the first round, he should be ashamed of himself. Like, fine, give us 2, like, or 3. Because if Jake does move, he can look after himself. It's not like he's just going to get one shot round the arm and...
Powered by Jake Paul's unmatched ability to sell narratives, spark debates, and force the boxing world to pay attention, whether it wants to or not. With Frank Warren and other promoters admitting that like it or hate it, this fight is a money storm, a spectacle hurricane, an entertainment juggernaut guaranteed to pull in numbers, headlines, memes, reactions, predictions, and every eyeball in the sports world. But while the business side thrives, the expectations on Anthony Joshua grow heavier by the day because analysts and fans insist that he must get a quick knockout. Not just for victory, but for reputation preservation, with many claiming that anything less than a dominant first-round finish could embarrass him. And Eddie Hearn trying to calm the public by reminding them that if Jake survives the early storm, if he defends well, if he makes it into later rounds, it should not be seen as an AJ failure.
You know, for those last 2 fights, that it is more difficult than he thought to boil himself down to 147. So it may be better for him to concentrate at 150, 154. But then you got Ortiz, you got Boots Ennis, and you got Brian Norman Jr. all in the 154-pound category. So it's a tough division. So it wouldn't at all surprise me if he's unable to win a world title because the opposition is good. But maybe if he boiled down to 147 again, he would have a better chance.
Last thing I want to ask you about, Barry, is the big news regarding Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. One of the biggest quotes, 2 of the quotes that stuck out to me was David Hayes said, that fight could be Jake Paul's last day on earth. And I think Gareth A. Davis has described it as a freak show. Some people are saying, you know, AJ's grabbing the bag. There's nothing wrong with that because anybody else, if they got offered that kind of money, they would do it. So, and some people are suggesting it might damage his legacy. Where do you sit with the decision of him taking that fight? And it's a professional 8-round fight as well.
Yes, it's a highly dangerous fight for Jake Paul. I don't know what he's doing unless they have done some sort of caveat or some sort of agreement that he says he's going to go easy on him or he's not going to.
Even though KSI is messaging Joshua privately, insisting, begging him even, not to let this circus go past 8 rounds. And all the while, Jake Paul is in his training camp, sweating, grinding, visualizing, believing, not pretending, not performing, but genuinely believing that he can walk into the ring and take out Anthony Joshua, a belief some analysts say is not confidence, but delusion of the highest order. A belief fueled not only by Jake's own bravado, but also by heavyweight king Tyson Fury, tossing gasoline on the fire by publicly betting $1 million on Jake Paul to win. which only intensifies the split in public perception. Half the world thinks Jake Paul is marched
at 150 million quid. No one will remember the fact he fought Jake Paul. They'll remember the fact he knocked Klitschko out in Wembley in 2017.
Totally agree with that.
So I'm kind of, whilst I don't like it, and I don't like the way that Jake Paul gravitates to these brilliant athletes and like a moth sucks the life out of them because he gets a benefit of association, because I think they deserve all the association. But he is a and there is opportunity there, isn't there?
Listen, commercially, of course it works because it'll be huge and there'll be a load of money on the table. And for Anthony Joshua, it's like sort of, he's going to get rewarded very well with no risk, minimal risk, no risk at all. He's going to go in there and he may then put all this stuff to bed with Jake Paul and calling out all these different champions, etc., etc. So, of course it works. And when you're talking about, the credibility that Joshua's going to get, he's not going to get none now, but are people going to remember that? Of course they're not. Like, when he goes on to do what he does, didn't Muhammad Ali have some sort of strange fight in the middle of his career? Didn't he box? Yeah, he did. He boxed some non-boxing guy and whatnot. Like, people don't remember that. That's what I'm saying. Look, us as boxers, we don't remember stuff like that.
It was replicated in Rocky. So, he did a version of
toward inevitable destruction, and the other half thinks this crazy man might actually shock the planet because, well, stranger things have happened. And as the drama builds, whispers begin about what Joshua risks in all this, with critics arguing that entertaining sideshow fights instead of pursuing a long-awaited battle with Deontay Wilder could tarnish his legacy, while others counter that a violent, emphatic knockout of Jake Paul could reignite his star power, boost his popularity, and become a moment remembered not as a stain, but as a spectacle, just like how Muhammad Ali had his own entertainment-driven fights that ultimately didn't diminish his greatness. And all of this tension, all of this narrative weight, all of these bold claims collide inside Jake Paul's gym when Anthony Joshua finally confronts him, stepping in with a calm, cold heaviness that feels like a warning from the universe itself. And as the cameras lock in, Joshua asks in that controlled, dangerous tone if Jake really predicted an early knockout, and
they'll watch it, and Netflix have bought it. And they're expecting to get big numbers. They've had big numbers for his last two fights. He's a major, major attraction for whatever reason. But he's a licensed boxer. He trains, he works as a fighter. I'll take my hat off to him for all of that. He's not a heavyweight, and he's stepping in with, people have criticised some of his opponents in the past, but he's stepping up to the plate.
Not criticise this one, I suppose.
He's gone from one extreme to the other. He's fighting a guy, ex-two-time world champion, as somebody who's a natural heavyweight. I know there's a weight clause thing on there, but I don't think that will make a lot of difference to AJ. And he's also a gold medalist. I think it's he's a massive favourite, AJ, for this fight. He's getting very, very well paid for it. And people will buy it. You'll buy it because it's a road crash.
He is a massive favourite. The bookies only have him at 1-10 and 1-4 to get the stoppage. Is that a bit mad to you?
I mean, look, you've seen AJ. You see what he's done with Ngannou.
Yeah, Ngannou and Jake Paul are two very...
And Ngannou's a natural heavyweight.
Yeah. I just thought those odds seemed a little bit, I suppose...
skinny.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it disrespectful to the integrity of boxing?
No, because it's... Look, you're asking a question that you know the answer to, as does most people in the industry. So, it is what it is. It's a pure money-making venture with a guy that's AJ doesn't mean too much in America. Jake Paul does.
Jake, grinning like a man who either knows something we don't or simply refuses to fear anything, says yes. He believes he'll knock Joshua out early, an answer that freezes the gym, stiffens the air, and forces everyone present to question whether Jake Paul is the bravest man in boxing or the most delusional one in sports entertainment. While Joshua studies him with a mixture of intrigue, mild amusement, and the unmistakable expression of a man already imagining how this will end once the bell rings, telling Jake with a simple, icy, "We'll see," before turning away, leaving behind a silence that feels like the calm before a superstorm. And Netflix milks the moment, capturing Jake.
There is a danger in this fight. The odds are, Joshua's 1-12, obviously. Jake Paul is 6-1, yeah? to win this fight in a 2-horse race in which this is a guy who lost to Tommy Fury, Tyson Fury's brother, in an 8-round fight, who, for me, I wrote that it would damage his legacy a week ago. It will damage his legacy for several reasons. If the Deontay Wilder fight never emerges, which it looks like it isn't, I've been calling for that fight for ages. If those two got in a ring together, it's still a massive fight.
Shadowboxing in slow motion, capturing Joshua walking out like a man already carrying victory on his shoulders, capturing the suspense, the madness, the psychological warfare of two athletes from completely different universes colliding in a single narrative that shouldn't exist but absolutely does. Because in the end, this fight is not just boxing, not just business, not just entertainment, but a cultural flashpoint where legacy, delusion, danger, money, bravado, and destiny mix into something so unpredictable the world cannot look away. And the narrator closes the episode with a final cheeky, dramatic punchline. On fight night, either Jake Paul will shock the world in the greatest upset in combat sports history, or Anthony Joshua will remind everyone why stepping into the ring with a true heavyweight destroyer is a decision one rarely lives to repeat. And either way, the knockout prediction that sparked this confrontation will finally be answered when fists fly and the truth is revealed under the bright lights, where there is no business, no hype, no delusion, only consequences.